दाबल्यानंतर काय झालं?
ठीक आहे चालेल, एक मिनिट आपण. हॅलो हॅलो, ऑडिबल आहे? आवाज येतोय? चल करूयात चालू आता. टीम्स वाल्यांना एकदा विचारून बघूयात आवाज येतोय का त्यांना. हॅलो हॅलो, हॅलो. चलो, is revised up till now what we learned. Everyone has, after going home, just brushed up the concepts. Yes, I can see. Just a minute. Pani pin. So we yesterday what we saw, like if the supply increases, demand remains. In the last lecture what we saw, guys, like if the supply increases, demand remains constant, what will be the impact on the price, right? So what will be our approach to determine whether the price increases or decreases? What I told you guys, anyone can recall? No. Yes or no? No. Okay, just a minute. We'll revise that. See, if the demand and supply, there were changes in these factors and what impact it will lead on the price, right? In the last lecture we were discussing with that, right? So what I just told you, first step is to determine what is more, demand is more or supply is more, right? Recall? Yes, we were if demand increases but supply remains constant, what is more? What is more? Demand is more, right? So first step, demand is more. So if demand is more, there are more buyers, less sellers. Less sellers, more buyers. What will happen, guys? Price will increase, right? Because more people want it, but availability is less in the market. So the price will increase. Recall how to analyze that 5 cases. Don't mug them up. Just try to first step to analyze whether demand is more, supply is more, which one is more, then analyze it with buyers and sellers. In a normal market, what happens if buyers are more and sellers are less? That will determine if the price increases or decreases, right? Now we will move on to theory of production. So first concept, what is production? The process of converting the raw material into finished goods, right? So if there is a manufacturing company that takes input as raw material and converts it into finished goods and then sells it in the market, that is means the manufacturing unit is producing, right? So that we can say it is a production unit, right? So we will read meaning of production. Generally, production means a process to change the raw material into finished goods. But in economics, making of the goods or certain goods, material, non-material, for the purpose of selling them in the market is called production. So now we will discuss what are the factors of production in detail. We knew in the previous lectures we discussed what are the factors of production. Land, labor, capital, and organization, that is the entrepreneur. that are required. These factors are required for production purpose, right? Now we will be discussing in detail these factors. So which is the first factor they are discussing here? Land. So what is land? Land is a natural resource that we have on this planet Earth, right? So land is a natural resource. Is it scarce, limited, or unlimited? Limited, right? And with the land, we have the land also includes its soil, right? Soil, nutrients, the land that has, right? So all these are the combination that is included in the land. So we will see. Later we will discuss the peculiar factors. First we will see what they are saying in terms of land here. Land in common usage is soil or surface of the earth, right? As a factor of production, it refers to all the natural resources like forests, water, climate, minerals, right? Whatever, land is not just that land, the ocean is also included in that as a land. Because it is not having soil, it is having water on it, but it is also a part of land. So it mainly supplies food to people, provides space for work, and supplies raw material to the industry. So land is a very important factor of production, because using land we are producing the agriculture. Through agriculture we are producing the food which is necessary for us, right, to survive. Then what they are saying? Providing space for work. Yeah, it is required because this land is required for some space for work. And these factors, now we will look into what are the peculiar factors of the land. Land is a gift of the nature, right? Have we produced land or as any human intervention? No. It is a gift of the nature. Naturally, when this earth was created, it was a gift provided by the nature, right? So it is a peculiar factor of land. So what they are saying, land is a gift of nature. Location of land, deposit minerals at certain places, and climatic conditions are no doubt gift of nature, right? Next, limited in supply. Do we have huge land? No. On this earth, we have that only the specific land is there, and only that much land we will have. Will that land increase? No. So it is a scarce resource, right? It is limited in supply. So what they are saying, the total geographical area of a country remains the same, like it will not increase. So in fact, certain resources like oil, gas, coal, and some species of wildlife may not be available after some time. They are also not available after some time, because we see like some birds, you know, like very small birds are there. They are smaller than the chimney. These birds are now rare. Can you see these birds now in the city area? Mostly not. In very rare, like in Konkan or some places which are there are forest is there. There only these species have become very rare. Like, right, guys? So they are explaining that only. Similarly, land is limited in supply. It is a gift of the nature. It is scarce, limited in supply. That is, the geographical area of the any country, nation will remain the same. It will not increase. So the land there will remain the same. And it is a scarce resource. It is limited in supply. Next, what they are saying, immobile factor. What is immobile factor? Immobile factor means, can land move from one place to another? What I can do, I can shift this place of ICWA chapter to near to my house because it is very far away. Can I do this? No, it is not possible. It is not feasible, right? So land cannot be moved from one place to another, right? That is, they want to say in case of immobile factor. Call her. Are you getting? Sit here. I can only see these, not you. Just come in front now, your second bench. So we were discussing immobile factor. Can I shift this institute to near my house, this land of the institute near my house, so that the institute will be near my house? I don't have to travel much. Is this possible? Is this feasible? No. So that is the case that land is not movable. It cannot be changed from one place to another. That only they are discussing. Land cannot be moved from one place to another like other factor. However, its ownership can be transferred and it can be shifted from one crop to another crop. Like ownership of the land can be transferred, right? I have a land in village. I can sell that land to another person. So the ownership from me will be transferred to another person. So the ownership of the land is transferable, right? Also, if there is an agricultural land, I can take one crop, rice, sometimes wheat, right? I can take different crops. I can change the crops that I am taking on that land, right? So what in short did you get from this? Land is an immobile factor, right? It cannot be moved from one place to another, but the ownership of land can be transferred. And the crops in an agricultural land can also be changed. This is very general sense or it is very normal or general terms that we are discussing, not very difficult or anything advanced, very basic level concepts, right? Next, diminishing returns. What we discussed, the law of diminishing returns. What is the law of diminishing returns? Anyone can recall? Boys? No. So the law of diminishing returns is what we discuss. See, we have some input and we want to produce an output from that input, right? So as we increase the input, what will happen? The output will also increase. But as we go on increasing the input, the output will increase. At the start, it will increase. But what will happen? Later on, it will go on decreasing. Because see, I will give you one example of diminishing returns. You have 1 acre of land at your village, and you put previously we were employing 5 laborers, 5, what we say, people there to cultivate, to sow the seeds, for the farming purpose, for the crops. Now what you did, you started increasing 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. And later you reach that to 10. So the amount of laborers in that land increased to 10. But will that output increase much in that relation? At the end, you say you increase it to 12, 15. 1 acre land, limited resources, limited inputs, other factors. Will the crop production increase a lot at the end? At the start, it will increase as we increase the number of laborers. But at the end, what will happen? Even though if we increase the number of laborers on that land, the amount of quantity of the rice or wheat that is produced will not increase much, right? So that is the law of diminishing returns. At the end, the marginal returns go on decreasing. So that law of diminishing marginal returns applies, we discussed in case of what? Wages, right? Wages also, when the wages increase, what happens? As we increase the wages, what happens? The laborer will work more hours. And after a certain time, remember guys, we were discussing an example, when we increase the wages per hour, every hour, the time that the number of hours that the laborer or the person who is working will increase. He will go on working for more hours. But after a certain period of hours that have been crossed, that is 13 hours or 12 hours or whatever may be, he will not work. He will replace that with leisure, right? Remember? So after that, is there any return? Returns are not there. So that also diminishing marginal returns. So that is the law of diminishing marginal returns. As we increase the amount of input factors, the total output goes on increasing at the first stage. But later, the total output even though if we increase the input, goes on increasing at a diminishing rate, goes on decreasing. So we will see this applies in case of land also. So early economists held the view that land is subject to the law of diminishing returns. Increased use of capital and labor on a given quantity of land would give diminishing returns, right? Everyone is clear with the example of, like, if we have 1 acre of land and if we increase the number of laborers from 5 to 12, logically, when the number of laborers at the start go on increasing, the rice production will increase. But later, at the end, when the laborers go to 15, the production of rice will not increase much. Our cost will increase, right? So the returns on that land will go on decreasing, right? Land differs in fertility, right? Every land has the same fertility. Some land soil is black color soil, some land soil is red color soil. So the fertility of the soil in every land is different. So when the land is more fertile, which type of crops we take? Sugar cane, right? We take sugar cane, cotton, and when it is less fertile, we take jwari, bajri, right? So the fertility differs. So taking on the fertility and the availability of water, we take the crop in the land, right? So these are the peculiar factors of the land. Land differs in fertility. There will be differences in the fertility of the land. As a result, output changes from one plot to another, right? More fertile land, we will take sugarcane, cotton, right? The farmer will take. And less fertile, he'll take jwari, bajri. So the crop in every land, so this land is less fertile. Can all crops be taken on that land? No. It's particular type of crops can be taken. It is because of these peculiarities of the land, the early economists considered land as a separate factor of production. Now we will move on to labor. What is labor? Labor is the, right, see, labor in economics, we know physical labor, right? The person who goes in works in an organization or goes or works on a agricultural land or in some workshop is a labor. But in economics, what they are saying, like, these are physical labor, like mental services, like mental services which offer peace are also included in this as labor. Like, see, like psychiatrist, he is also a laborer because he is providing the mental services for the peace of the patient, right? So he is also a laborer. So that is the one addition which is given in this definition. We will see. Laborer. In ordinary usage, labor stands for only physical labor. In economics, labor means physical as well as mental services engaged in the production to earn income. See, there are two aspects here in economics. Classical economists and Karl Marx have considered labor as sole factor of production, right? Labor is inseparable, right? Can the laborer and the labor be separated? They will go together. Where the laborer goes, the labor will go, right? But in case of other, like, see, in case of land, the owner of the land and the land can be separated, right? So this is a different factor, characteristic of labor which we can say. The land and the landowner are two separate entities. They can be separated. But in case of labor and laborer, they cannot be separated. See, labor is inseparable from the laborer, but in case of other factors like land and capital are separable from the landlord and capitalist. Capital is a person who brings the money into the business. That is money that is invested into the business is capital, and capitalist is the person who invests that money into the business. So these two are also different, right? They can be separated. Next is labor is perishable. What does it mean that it is perishable? Perishable means it can go waste. It can perish away. So if I don't work, my labor will get perished. It will go waste. See, if I am working for 9 hours and I take a leave or a half day, I will take a half day and I work only for 4.5 hours. Now what has happened to these 4.5 hours? They are perished. Means that has gone waste. That amount of what labor I would employ in the organization is perished. So that is what labor is perishable. See, if a worker does not find work on a particular day, the labor is lost for a day. Like other factors of production, labor cannot be preserved. It cannot be preserved. It is perishable. For example, we took like I am working for 9 hours every day. I take a half day. My 4.5 hours are perished, right? What is next? Supply of labor. This is the same what we were discussing. See, I am a laborer. Hours worked and wages per hour. I work for 1, 2. Okay? And wages go on increasing. See, it goes 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Okay? So, as they have explained the same concept which we had discussed, but we will discuss it again. There are hours worked and there are wages per hour. As the hours work go on increasing, what I do, I increase the wages per hour. So when I work for 1 hour, I'll get rupees 10. When I work for 2 hours, I'll get rupees 20. When I work for 3 hours, I'll get rupees 30. So the laborer is motivated at the start. I am working more, I'll get more wages. My wages are getting doubled. So he will work for 2, 4, 5, 9, 10, 11, 12 hours. After 12 hours, what will happen? Can you all tell me what will happen after 12 hours? He will get exhausted, right? Anyone in a normal situation, what will happen? Will get exhausted. Now he'll feel like I want some mental peace. I want to relax. So even though the wages are increasing, will he work? No, he'll go home, he'll meet his children, his wife, he'll enjoy, he watch some TV for some time after 12 hours, right? So that labor is replaced by what? Leisure, right? Relaxation after 12 hours, right? So in a normal case, what happens? Even though the wages per hour go on increasing, when the wages go on increasing, the laborer goes on working and working. But after a certain point, the laborer replaces that time with leisure. And even if we increase the wages, it does not affect him. That is what we had discussed last time, right? Recalled? We will, in case what? Rare goods and laborer, exceptions to the law of supply, right? In case of rare goods, we cannot supply even if their price increases. Can we supply more rare goods? Because they are rare, can we supply more? No. And even in case of wage rate goes on increasing, the supply of labor at start increases. But later, after a period of time, the supply does not increase, right? We had discussed this. That only the same concept is here. Supply of labor. Laborers offer more labor at lower wages. When wages rise beyond a certain level, they prefer to enjoy leisure and supply less labor. Yes? Everyone understood this? It is observed that the supply curve of labor is backward bending at higher wages. Right. Now what we know? Weak bargaining power. Does a labor have much bargaining power? In an organization, if you go and join and if they give you 5% increment. Do you have that bargaining power that after joining the organization that no, I want 10% increment or I want 7% increment? Do you have that power? No. So mostly the laborer has weak bargaining power. Even now we can say the workers which are working in organization, they have trade unions. But what happens? They have a union person, right? A trade union. What they have? Union leaders are there, right? They fight for the workers so that their wages must increase there for their welfare. Everyone knows? Yeah. Huh. So even though we have this unions, the union leaders, what happens is ultimately the organization does not listen every aspect of their demands, right? Even though if the laborers go on, workers go on strike, you know, when they go on strike, we need to fulfill certain demands as an organization, right? Strike, everyone knows. So they go on strike, so they have 4, 5, 10 demands. Every 10 demands is fulfilled. No, even though they go on strike, only 4, 3, 4, 5 demands will be fulfilled and they will be brought back. So their bargaining power is very weak. Weak bargaining power. Labor has less bargaining power as it is a perishable thing. In the same way, trade unions are not strengthened, so they cannot fight for better wages. Differ in the efficiency. Now we will discuss, you are working in an organization in a team as 4 members. So is it that you four are working in the same team? You have got a job after CMA and you are working in a team in an organization. So will the manager say that you all 4 are working with the same efficiency or same your level of result oriented, or whatever results you are giving are the same? Efficiency level is same for all the 4 of you. You have joined at the same day, but and after a period of time like 1 year, will the manager say that you 4 all have good efficiency, like all 4 have equal efficiency? Is it possible? So because every person is different, your grasping power is different, his grasping power is different. You may grasp things quickly, he may not grasp them. You are good at accounting, he is good at costing. So you are doing audit well, but he is doing costing well. So the laborer, every person is different. Every person has some unique qualities. So the efficiency of every person is different, right? So everyone gets promoted or what? Every year, even though you 4 joined at the same time, after 2 years, all 4 will get promoted? No. Any one or 2 can get promoted. So that will depend on what? Efficiency, your efficiency in the organization. So the efficiency will vary from person to person, from laborer to laborer, right? Right? Understood? We are discussing. Some laborers have more efficiency and some laborers have less efficiency. What is capital? Capital is the money that the entrepreneur brings into the business. So with the help of this capital, what does the organization or the entrepreneur does? He purchases machinery, he brings labors, he takes land on rent, he can purchase the raw material, right? With the help of this capital, the money, he can purchase raw material, he can purchase machinery, he can purchase tools, he can bring laborers, and after he can give salary to them after 1 month, next month, continuously. So this is very important factor, right? Without capital, we cannot. All other factors of production are useless, right? But even if we don't have capital, we have labor. Can we bring them into the organization and ask them to work? No, because we cannot pay them. If we can't pay them, we cannot ask them to work, right? We don't have capital, we can't buy raw material. We can't buy raw material, can we produce finished goods and sell them? Finished goods will not be produced without raw material, right? So what it is? Land. If I have no capital, can I purchase land or take land on rent, lease? No, right? So without capital, the production process is not going to start at all, right? So it is a very important factor of production. So we'll see what they are saying. Capital. In the ordinary sense, capital means money for an individual or a firm. Money is a form of capital when it is used to purchase machinery, tools, raw material, etc. Ultimately, it is these man-made goods, machinery, tools that help in the production of goods. These are vital in raising productivity in different sectors. What they are saying, machinery and tools, man-made goods. How can machinery and tools increase the productivity? Any idea? How can machinery and tools increase the productivity? See, I'll give you an example. First, what was happening was there was no machinery. And the laborer was, what he was doing was, with his handmade, this handmade looms, hand looms like, or that type of hand looms where only intensive hand looms, for preparing the clothes. So machinery was there, but it was, which was operating by laborers. Handlooms. So later what happened? The entrepreneur invested more capital, more machinery, replaced the old machinery and replaced machinery. Now the labor intervention is not at all required much. The laborers are required less because we have increased the machinery. Machines will operate. Only we need to send it in the, put it in the machine, and after the production process, take it out of the machine. So the laborers will decrease because we increase the machinery. So the productivity increases because when the laborer is working in a manual work, can we give more output when it is manual? When it is automated or machine oriented, the accuracy is more, right? Machines will be more accurate than humans. First thing, the accuracy will be more, so the efficiency is more. And second thing, the production that is happening, that will be also be quick because the laborer will take gaps in between, or it is a manual work, right? So when we are using machinery, the production will increase, right? Because machines are, accuracy will be there, and machines are fast compared to laborers, right? So they will produce more in 1 hour. If the laborer is producing 10 units, the machinery will produce in 1 hour 15 units. So what is happening? Accuracy is increasing. Number of units produced are increasing. So when we are employing more machinery and tools, automatically the productivity is increasing, right? Because the quantity produced is increasing and the accuracy and the quality is also increasing. So they are saying here, machinery and tools that help in the production process. These are vital in raising productivity. So they are saying it is raising the productivity. Got it? Got? Same here now. We will be discussing the functions of capital. Capital supplies tools and machinery. Machines, machinery. Right? With the help of capital, what we will do to produce finished goods, we will be purchasing machines and tools, right? What happened? What happened? Be loud now. Be loud, I cannot hear you. Huh. काय? दिसला नाही का? प्रोडक्टिव्हिटी आहे तो. Now we will discuss. At the start, what we discussed, capital will be required to purchase raw material, to machinery, tool, to pay the laborer, to purchase the land or to take the land on lease. These are the functions of capital. See, they have explained here in detail. Capital supplies and machines. Capital supplies tools and machines that assist the laborers in working efficiently and producing maximum output. A laborer backed by better tools and machines will be more efficient in production, right? If the laborer does not have the proper machinery or the tools required, will his efficiency be good, or will he be producing in an efficient manner? No. So if the proper machinery and proper tools are provided to that laborer, his efficiency will increase, and in turn the production efficiency will also increase. Improves productivity of labor. Same. It is showing the same thing. If proper machinery and tools are given, the efficiency of laborer will increase. If the laborer's efficiency increase, the production efficiency will also increase. Same. Capital improves per capita productivity of labor. This in turn increases the overall production, right? If the laborer's efficiency increases, production efficiency increased. Production efficiency increased means what? The overall production increased. Capital supplies raw material. Without capital, can we purchase raw material? No. So they are saying capital is helping in purchasing that raw material. With the help of that raw material, we are converting that raw material into finished goods and then selling those finished goods and then earning revenue, and after that we are getting profit. Capital supplies raw materials which is required on a continuous basis for production process, right? Raw material will be required on a continuous basis. Without it, once the raw material is in shortage, like or reached a minimum level where we have a shortage of raw material, before it goes beyond a certain level, we again place the purchase order and get the raw material, right? Because our production should not stop, right? If our production stops in between, it is creating a loss, right? We have to, the laborer will be waiting, machinery will be waiting, everything is waiting, our time is going waste. So without, if it gets stopped because of raw material, it is a loss, right? Laborer will be waiting. So 2-3 hours of labor waiting, even though he is waiting, we have to pay his salary. It's not his mistake, right? So that is a problem. So shortage of raw material should not be there. So proper raw material on a continuous basis is required for the production efficiency. Generate more employment. How capital will generate more employment? See, without capital, we cannot pay the laborer. When we have more capital, we can bring in more labor into the organization for conversion of raw material into finished goods. So when there are more laborers coming, more employment will be generated. What is driving that more employment? Because of capital. If we don't have capital, we cannot bring in more labor. So when more labor is there, more employment is created. So the driving force of that more employment is capital, money. Additional tools and machines generate more employment to people. However, in modern production, labor replacing machine reduce employment opportunities, right? Now what has happened? Everywhere the process is getting automated. People are being replaced by machines, robots, right? So what is happening? Because of this technological driven market, people are getting replaced by robots, by machineries. The employment opportunities are getting reduced. So what type of skills we should develop so that this should not happen with us? Niche or expertise skills. Those skills which cannot be replaced by robots, by machines. Right? It is not related, but I am just discussing in general with you. Provides transport facilities. So with the help of capital, what happens? We can transport the raw material from the place where we are purchasing, supplier of the raw material, to our factory, right? With the help of capital, we can transport that raw material. With the help of capital, there are roads, bridges that are forming, many facilities that are getting coming into the picture. So capital is very important. So capital in the form of roadways, railways, ships help to transport raw materials to the site of production and finished goods to the market. Next is payment to factor. So what does capital does? I want to produce some finished goods. I want to purchase raw material. Without capital, can I pay the raw material amount that I have purchased? Cost. Can I pay without capital? No. I have employed some laborers in the my factory. So without capital, can I tell these laborers to work at first instance if I don't have money? No. Third thing is that land. Without capital, can I purchase the land or take the land on rent or lease? पैसेच नाहीयेत, मी कुठून घेणार आहे? नाही. तर सगळे हे जे बाकीचे all other factors of production are dependent on what factor? Capital. So the most vital factor is what? The capital. When we have capital, we can, with the help of capital, employ other factors of production and then convert raw material into finished goods, right? That only they are saying here. Payment of factor. Capital in the form of money is useful for payment of advance wages to the laborers, even before the goods are sold in the market, right? If we have money, even though the goods are, before the goods are sold in the market and we get money, if we already have money, we can pay it to the laborers in advance. Next is entrepreneur. What is an entrepreneur? Who is an entrepreneur? A businessman. Can we say a businessman is an entrepreneur? Mukesh Ambani, Adani. Right. So what is the duty of an entrepreneur? He has to manage that business, right? He has to manage the business. He has to look into the business, what type of goods will be produced, what good to be produced, he will decide, right? The entrepreneur will decide which technology to use for his business, he will decide, right? Then he will decide at if I'm using this technology, which what in what quantity I will produce it, right? Then what he will decide, what will be the price. These are all the responsibilities, the management of the business, whatever things are required. But what is the problem? Who is responsible if there is a profit or loss in the business? He himself, the entrepreneur, is responsible. If he wants to take any risk in the business, who will be responsible? He himself is responsible. So in turn, what is entrepreneur is the sole person who is responsible for his business in taking any of the decisions of the business, right? Whatever decision he will be taking, that will either go in the favor of the business or unfavorable decisions would be there. But he is the person who will be deciding everything for his business. So we will see what he will be doing. The person who organizes the production is called entrepreneur. He is considered as a separate factor because he performs specific functions different from those of other factors. Why he is considered separate? Because he is performing separate functions. Does this capital, what we discuss, land, labor and capital, do they perform any functions? No, they don't perform any specific functions. Like nowadays, an entrepreneur is not considered as a separate factor, but as a special type of human laborer. When the ownership and the management are one and the same, entrepreneur has to perform certain functions, right? Because when the ownership and the management are not same, then the entrepreneur don't need to perform certain functions, right? See, suppose I have a cafe. I am the entrepreneur of the cafe. I invested the capital, everything I did. So what I did, I employed a manager there to look after the everything. I will not be looking at the cafe at all. I just said to the manager, You just give me 10% of the profit every year. I will not be looking what you want to do, you do with the cafe. So am I the entrepreneur and the ownership and the management are with the same person? No. When the ownership and management are not in the same person, is the entrepreneur the sole person performing all the duties? No. They have explained that only here, right? But in other case scenario, I am the owner of the cafe and I am only looking at the cafe, like the cleaning of the cafe, how many people to be employed in the cafe, what type of coffees, cold coffee, fries, what items to be kept, what other things, what will be the price of those items. Everything I am deciding. So I am the owner, entrepreneur, as well as the management is with me. So I will be performing certain functions in this case. Initiation of the business. Who initiates the business? Entrepreneur. Because he wants to do the business. He has that motivation to do the business. So he will be initiating business. He will be bringing his own capital. He will be employing those capital in various inputs of factors of production that we discussed, and then try to earning, maximizing the profit. Initiation of the business. Entrepreneur has to initiate the business by mobilizing other factors. All the primary work to start the business will be undertaken by him. Decision making. See, we discussed, right? If the entrepreneur and the management of the business are one and the same, who will be the sole decision maker? The entrepreneur only. He will be deciding because he is the person who is investing the capital. He is the person who will be bearing the loss or the profit. So all the decisions like what will be the quantity of the goods produced, what will be the price of that good, what type of technology will I be using, how much labor will I be using, how much machinery will I be using, right? So everything, the decision relating to the business will be taken by the entrepreneur. Major decision like the kind of goods to be produced, size of the unit, quantity of output, price, marketing have to be made by him. Choosing of technology. Again, the entrepreneur will only choose the technology. If he has more capital, he will take advanced technology. If he has less scarce capital, what he'll do? He will employ some labor and some machinery, certain type of technology. Choosing suitable technology, combining factors in right proportion to maximize output and minimize cost are the other functions of organ. So what will be the main objective of the entrepreneur? To minimize the cost and to maximize the output, the profit, right? Innovation. What innovation we can do? What the entrepreneur can do, right? With the help of suggestions or whatever the people who are working in the organization, like every organization tries to make improvements in their process, right guys? If we are doing a certain thing in a certain way, we every time with the help of suggestions from the laborers or with the help of suggestion from the technical experts in that field, what we do, we try to improve the process, improve the efficiency of the process, so that what will happen? Cost will get reduced, production efficiency will increase, productivity will increase, right? And our profit will increase. So entrepreneur is the person who has to build that environment of innovation, improvements in the process, improvement in the efficiency. So what happens? Naturally, the cost reduces, efficiency increases, productivity increases, output increases, and profit increases, right? He must be dynamic to introduce new methods, techniques, products, etc. Pay the reward factors. Who has to pay the reward to other factors? What we discussed, the entrepreneur will only, with the help of capital, will bring other factors into the business for production, right? So he is bringing those factors, then he only will pay those factors after the goods, right? Right, guys? And what they are saying, who is sole responsible for the profit or loss, the risk he is taking? The entrepreneur, right? Whatever risk he takes, he is responsible. Whatever risk he takes, and due to that risk, he earns profit or loss, he is the person who will be responsible for that. Pay the rewards of factors. An entrepreneur has to pay the rewards to other factors. He has to bear the responsibility either for profit or loss in the production. Now we are going to laws of production. So there are two laws of production. Anyone ever read these laws? Yes or no? Huh? No. Okay. 2 minutes. What is your name? काय म्हटली? हा ये जाऊन 2 मिनिट थांब. लवकरात लवकर ये बर का. कळते का? काही डाऊट्स आहेत? हे तर सोपं आहे इतकं. म्हणजे नॉर्मल जनरलच आहे, हे बेसिक आहे एकदम. काही त्याच्यात मला पण माहिती आहे. आता हे थोडंसं ते ऍडव्हान्स चालू होईल आपलं. हे नॉर्मलच आहे, जे काही फॅक्टर्स ऑफ प्रोडक्शन आणि त्यांची काही कॅरेक्टरिस्टिक्स. तरी पण मी केलं म्हणजे आपल्याला एक्झाम्पल देऊन तिथे पण घेतले बेसिकला पण आपल्याला. ह्याच्यात आता इथून पुढे थोडं लक्ष द्या, म्हणजे काही डाऊट आले तर आपण हे कारण इम्पॉर्टंट आहे. लॉज ऑफ प्रोडक्शन वेगळे आहे ना, हे बेसिक नाही आहे, ऍडव्हान्स आहे थोडंसं. What she is saying, what to revise. Typing. ठीक है. She'll type till then. Can we move forward? Next. So we are now going to discuss the laws of production. We saw what is production, what are the factors required. Sheila is saying she wants to revise. Just a minute, she's typing something. Last lecture or today's last lecture? I want to ask about MCQ. Wait. Mm, Okay, we'll move. Sheila, we will discuss this with after the lecture gets over. You can wait on this Microsoft Teams. Once the lecture gets over around 5 after 5:30 or after 5:35 or 5:40, I will discuss it with you, Sheila. Or else you can message me on the economics group if we are not able to discuss here. Okay, fine, Sheila. Shit. Laws of factors of production. Are you able to see the screen? Laws of production. So what we discussed, what is production? Then what are the factors required for the production? Now we are going to discuss the laws of production. So there are two laws. So why laws of production are required? The first basic thing we will be discussing. Why law of production will be required? To decide how much production we need to do, right? Law of production. What it is stating? The word is saying production. How much production we need to do so that we get maximum profit. So what will be our output level or how much quantity of goods we will produce so that we maximize our profit. Because what happens at certain level of production, we are not getting any profit. At certain level of production, we are getting negative profit. At certain level of production, we are getting zero profit. And in certain level of productions, we are getting positive profit. So the output level should be such at where we get maximum profit, right? Or positive profit, right? So that's why we require the law of production to determine how much production to be made by an organization or a firm so that it can maximize its profit. So they have explained here. We'll see why these laws of production are required. Law of production in economics deals with the concept of cost and producer's equilibrium. It is an important aspect of economics as it helps business to determine what it helps to determine level of output. How much quantity of goods to be produced? What is the level of output? I will produce 1000 units of 1000 units. I will produce 2000 units. That is the level of output. What is the quantity to be produced? That leads to maximum profit. It also defines various variable and fixed costs of the firm. It is not only helping in this, what it is helping to determine how much is the variable cost, how much is the fixed cost. So anyone can tell me why are laws of production required? Your name? Your name. Middle. Your name. Yash. Yash, can you tell me why is the laws of production required? Level of output or quantity, what it needs? Maximize the, so that our profit will be maximum. So there are two basic laws of production, law of variable production and law of returns to scale. So we will be discussing this with an example. See, first law we will discuss. It's already written here, or how will I write? Eraser. Now we will see the first law. I have erased everything. So we will be first discussing the first law, which is the law of variable proportion. Law of variable proportion. So what it is saying, variable proportion. So one factor is variable and the other factors are constant. This is the name only suggests variable proportion. You need to remember like that, variable proportion. So with these factors of production, we will be producing. So variable proportion means one factor will be variable and other factors are constant. So where this law of variable proportion, first thing to remember, law of variable proportion is for short run and returns to scale is for long run. So law of variable proportion, we will be discussing what happens in the short run. So there are two factors of production, suppose land and labor. So variable proportion, one factor will vary, other factors constant. So labor will vary, land is constant. Okay, two factors. This is constant, so there's no issue here. When we go on labor, what we will be discussing here is total output or total revenue See, in simple, what we will discuss is law of variable proportion is for short run, returns to scale is for long run. Variable proportion means what? One factor will vary, other factors remain constant. Simple. But what happens in this law of variable proportion when one factor varies, other factor remains constant? As we increase the one factor, other factors will be constant. As we increase the factor which is variable, that is labor, what happens? The total product goes on increasing. We will see here they have given with an example. See, where? Just a minute. There is no chart here for this. This is only the chart, but it is, I have to erase it. They have made it. It's already written, no? See, in this, which one? Page number 49. This chart you can see. See what it is. There are two factors: labor, land, and labor. Land is constant. We are discussing law of variable proportion. Land is constant, that is fixed. There is no change in the land. And there are changes in labor. This factor of production. What impact it is bringing on total product, average product, and marginal product, we will be seeing that. So what is happening? Land is constant. As we increase the units of labor from 1 to 2, the total product is increasing. Average product is also increasing and marginal product is also increasing. Again, when we increase to 3, this is happening the same case. Total product is increasing, average product is increasing, and marginal product is increasing. Again, at the 4th stage, the total product is increasing. Average product, is it increasing? It is constant, right? 12, 12, right? You can see 12 is becoming 12 only again. So it is constant here. What is happening to the marginal product? It is decreasing. Due to what? Diminishing returns. Law of diminishing returns we discussed. After a certain time, Even though the units of labor will increase, the productivity of land will decrease. Marginal productivity will decrease. Total productivity will increase a bit, but the marginal productivity will decrease. So again, more labor units we are employing, 5, 6, 7, 8. So what is the status? Total product is increasing. But marginal product is also increasing, but at a diminishing rate. And when the total product reach the highest, that is the 60, what has happened to marginal product? We discussed, right, when the total utility reaches at a peak, what happens to the marginal utility? Intersects the x-axis, but what happens? It becomes zero, right? When the total utility at a peak point, what we discussed, the marginal utility will become zero. It will intersect the x-axis at 0 point. The same it is here. When the total product is at a peak stage, which is 60, the marginal product becomes zero. Here you can see on the screen, marginal product becoming zero. And again, what we discussed after that, when the total utility starts decreasing, marginal utility will x-axis it has crossed. So it is gone on the negative side, right? Recall? When the total utility goes on decreasing, like when it is at the peak, then like this curve it was there, total utility goes on decreasing. What will happen to the marginal utility? Now it is zero. It will go beyond zero. It will become negative. Same here. When the total product is decreasing, right? What is happening to the marginal product? It is negative. So what it is? Similar to the law of diminishing marginal returns. But here what we need to take into consideration is that law of variable proportion is for short run. Other factors remain constant. Only one factor is variable. And what it gives? It gives diminishing returns, like the law of diminishing marginal utility. It is giving diminishing returns. We checked, right? Hello? Am I audible, Shaila? Hello? बरोबर ठीक आहे बघते मी सेल वगैरे लागतं हां हां चालेल बघते शैलाला विचारते ठीक आहे हॅलो नाव एम आय ऑडिबल शैला हॅलो नाव एम आय ऑडिबल शैला काकांना बोलून आण बरं खालनं प्लीज आण ना आवाजाचा टीम्सवर जरा इश्यू येतोय त्याचा काही रिस्पॉन्स येत नाही येस नो नसेलच येत तिला आवाज म्हणूनच हॅलो इथे तर आवाज येतोय ना आपल्याला नो नाही 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 ओके काय इश्यू असेल, एक मिनिट. माईकचं तर वाटत नाही मला काही. हॅलो, काय करायचं, स्टॉप करायचं का आज? किती वाजलेत? 5 वाजलेत. म्हणजे या अर्धवट राहिलं ना लॉ ऑफ टिमिनी. थांब एक मिनिट, मी सेलचं बघतो. एकच मिनिट. टीम्स वाल्यांना जात नाही आपल्या, बाकी इथे तर येतोय सगळ्यांना आवाज. टीम्स वाल्यांना जात नाहीये फक्त. मला पण बघायलाच लागेल. एक्झिट, एक मिनिट, स्पॉटलाइट चालू करायचंय का? युअर व्हिडिओ विल ऑन. एक मिनिट, इथे मी बघते. एकच मिनिट, काही ऑप्शन्स दिसतात का? सेटिंग, ऑडिओ सेटिंग्स मध्ये जाऊन बघ. See, yes. Hello. Yes, ma'am. Is it audible? ते वाटतं आवाज येतोय. Hello. Sheila, is it audible? Can you please reply? हा, येतोय आवाज. झालं, काहीतरी टेक्निकल आपलं असेल. कंटिन्यू. So what we were discussing, the law of variable proportion is for a short term and the law of returns to scale is for in the long run. So in the name only suggests. Can't hear you. काय करायचं यार? Hello. And she's typing something. टेक्निकल ग्लिचचा खूपच इश्यू येतो. Okay. Hello, Sheila, I am audible, right? Okay. We can continue. Okay. Disturbance खूप येतोय. Boys, what we were discussing, the law of variable proportion is for, tell me, for short run, and the law of returns to scale is in the, we are analyzing for the long run. How, what will be the output in the long run, and law of variable proportion, what will be the output or the quantity to be produced in the short run. So what is the, why we are reading this, why we are learning this law of production? Yes, you told me, right? To determine the level of output or the quantity to be produced so that the firm, at that output, the firm maximizes profit, right? So the law of variable proportion is analyzing in the short run. And what variable proportion? So what is name is suggesting? One input, which factor of production is variable, and the other factors of production are constant. So what impact it will bring when we change one factor of production while keeping other factors of production constant on the total output? So what we discussed, what impact it is bringing, we saw through this table. Impact it is bringing is the same as per law of diminishing marginal returns. So what was the law of diminishing marginal returns? At the start, the total utility increases, marginal utility goes on increasing. Later, the total utility increases, marginal utility also increases, but at a diminishing rate. And when the total utility reaches the peak point, what happens to the marginal utility? Marginal utility becomes zero. When the total utility goes on decreasing, what happens to marginal utility? Marginal utility becomes negative. Same here. When we change one factor of production, the total product goes on increasing. Marginal product also goes on increasing at an increasing rate. The total product increases, but the marginal product increases at a diminishing rate. When the total product reaches the highest level, marginal product becomes zero. When the total product becomes negative, marginal product becomes, and when the total product decreases, marginal product becomes negative. Sorry for that. I saw you and later. Total product decreases, marginal product becomes negative, right? Clear on this? See, now we will be seeing the theoretical definition what they have given here. Law of variable proportion. It explains the relationship between input and output in the short period. What we discussed, it's important to remember. This is law of variable proportion is only for the short period, right? According to this law, output can be changed by changing some variable factors, while other factors are constant. What they are saying? One factor, the output can be changed when we keep other factors constant, and out of those factors, one factor is variable. That is, one factor we will be changing and other factors will remain constant. Like land and labor, two factors we have. What we will do? We will keep land as it is. We will not change the amount of land. That factor will remain constant. We will change labor. So labor is the variable factor and the constant factor is land. So it is called law of variable proportion. What it is explaining? Now anyone can, you explain me what is the law of variable proportion in short. Just a summary. Tell me. We'll see how much you got it. I want to see whether you have got it or not. I will help you. It is not that you only, if you go wrong, if you need help, I will be there. Just whatever you understood, try to recall and help me. आवाज नाही येते, जोरात जोरात थोडस. पहिलं काय की लॉ ऑफ व्हेरिएबल प्रपोर्शन शॉर्ट रन साठी असते, बरोबर? हा, शॉर्ट पिरियड साठी असते पहिलं. दुसरं काय, त्याच्यामध्ये व्हेरिएबल प्रपोर्शन, एक फॅक्टर व्हेरी होतो आणि बाकीचे फॅक्टर्स कॉन्स्टंट राहतात. त्याच्या तो फॅक्टर एक फॅक्टर व्हेरी केल्याने चेंजिंग वन फॅक्टर और varying one factor, other factors remaining constant, what impact it brings on the output. What impact it brings? We saw diminishing marginal returns चा impact दाखवला. जसं टोटल युटिलिटी मध्ये मार्जिनल युटिलिटीज आपण बघितलं नाही का, मी एक्झाम्पल दिलं. तर मग काय इम्पॅक्ट होतो? वन फॅक्टर व्हेरिएबल असेल आणि अदर फॅक्टर्स कॉन्स्टंट असतील तर डिमिनिशिंग इम्पॅक्ट होतो, बरोबर? डिमिनिशिंग रिटर्न्स येतात, राईट? कळलं आता लॉ ऑफ व्हेरिएबल प्रपोर्शन. डिमिनिशिंग रिटर्न्स टोटल युटिलिटी, मार्जिनल युटिलिटी काय इम्पॅक्ट झाला आपण बघितलं, तोच इम्पॅक्ट इथे येणार. कळालं लॉ ऑफ व्हेरिएबल प्रपोर्शन तुला? चला पुढे जाऊयात. सो विल मूव ऑन टू नेक्स्ट. ओके, टोटल प्रोडक्ट. व्हॉट इज द टोटल प्रोडक्ट? टोटल क्वांटिटी ऑफ युनिट्स प्रोड्यूस्ड बाय द ऑर्गनायझेशन, राईट? Next, what it is? Average product. What is average? Total product. What will be the total product? First tell me what is total product. Total quantity of units produced. Now what will be the average product? Total product divided by whatever the variable factor we are changing divided by that. That is the total product. Now that is the average product, and total product is the total quantity of units produced. काय काय? Average product परत रिपीट करू. एक मिनिट. हे बघ, ऍव्हरेज प्रोडक्ट काय आहे? ऍव्हरेज कसं काढतो तू? समजा 10, 12 आणि 13 आहेत, यांचं ऍव्हरेज कसं काढणार? हे बघ, हा हा ऍड करणार म्हणजे टोटल घेणार, टोटल प्रोडक्ट घेणार आधी, बरोबर, लॉजिकली, आणि काय करणार? 3 ने डिवाइड करणार, बरोबर. मग हे 12 येणार, हा ऍव्हरेज. आता ह्याच्यात बघ, टोटल टोटल घेणार म्हणजे टोटल प्रोडक्ट घेणार तू आधी. बाकी फॅक्टर्स तर कॉन्स्टंट आहेत. चेंज काय होतंय? एकच व्हेरिएबल, लॉ ऑफ व्हेरिएबल प्रपोर्शन आपण बघतोय, बरोबर. वी आर सीइंग, वी आर लुकिंग इन टू द लॉ ऑफ व्हेरिएबल प्रपोर्शन. दॅट इज ओनली, वी हॅव नॉट कम्प्लिटेड. त्याचंच हे आहे ते, त्याचेच टोटल प्रोडक्ट्स आणि ऍव्हरेज प्रोडक्ट्स वी आर कॅल्क्युलेटिंग. सो टोटल प्रोडक्ट आलं आधी, ते तर कळालं, टोटल जसं आपण घेतो तसं ऍव्हरेज काढताना. नंतर काय, बाकीचे फॅक्टर्स कॉन्स्टंट आहेत. काय चेंज होतं याच्यामध्ये? फक्त व्हेरिएबल काय, लेबर व्हेरी होत होतं, बरोबर. म्हणून क्वांटिटी ऑफ लेबर, कारण बाकीच्या फॅक्टर्सनी काही इम्पॅक्टच पडत नाही ना टोटल प्रोडक्टवर, म्हणून बाकीचे फॅक्टर्स आपण कन्सिडर करत नाही आहोत. कळलं लॉजिकली तुला? ते तर कॉन्स्टंटच आहेत, त्याच्यात काही चेंजेसच नाहीत. डिवाइड करून त्यांना ऍड करण्यात काही पॉईंट नाही आहे ना खाली आपल्याला. एका फॅक्टरमुळेच टोटल प्रोडक्ट आपलं चेंज होत आहे. इम्पॅक्ट एका फॅक्टरमुळे होते, एक फॅक्टर व्हेरी केल्यामुळे टोटल आउटपुट वरती काय इम्पॅक्ट येईल? व्हॉट चेंजिंग वन व्हेरिएबल, what impact it brings on the output, that is the law of variable proportion, right? So the variable factor we are dividing. What it is, average product is the total product per unit of variable input. Thus average product is the total product divided by the number of units of the variable factor. Q काय दिले त्यांनी? टोटल प्रोडक्ट. L काय? क्वांटिटी ऑफ लेबर. वी सॉ राइट, लेबर इज चेंजिंग, लँड इज फिक्स, सो वी हैव डिवाइडेड इट बाय लेबर. What is marginal product? You know marginal product, marginal revenue we discussed, marginal utility we discussed, right? We discussed, right? Marginal revenue, recall? Marginal utility. So what will be marginal product? Same, na? Just here it is product, there it was revenue, utility. Change in the product, right? Change in the total product. For what was the first? Suppose the total product first was, just a minute, 100. Now it became 200. Total product 1. Total product 2. What will be the marginal product? 200 minus 100. The change in the total product is the marginal product, barabar. So 100 is the change, so the marginal product will be 100. Change in the total product by changing one unit of the variable factor, right? Marginal product. Marginal product is the change in the total product resulting from using an additional unit of variable factor. Say marginal product, what it is there? How we saw this 100 change in the total product, right? We are considering 200 and 100. This is 200 minus 100 is the change in the total units produced, right? So the change derivative of total product, or the, that's what they have given here, or the derivative of total product or the quantity divided by all other factors are all other factors are constant here. Only one factor, that is labor, will be changing. So what will derive the change in the total product? Only one factor. Labor will change. That factor is only deriving the change in the output, right? Labor will only derive. So change in labor. Clear on this? You are clear? We discussed three concepts, right? Total product, what is total product? Total unit or quantity is produced. Average product, total product divided by the variable that is changing, because other factors are constant, and the what is deriving total product? Only one variable, because other factors are constant. Change in that variable only, the change in the total variable is bringing ultimately, right? And what is marginal product? Again, change in the total product due to the change in variable. And what will be total product? Another equation for total product. Another formula or another how we will derive total product. We saw what is total utility? Sum of marginal utilities. Recall? Or every marginal utility we add up, we will get total utility, right? We discussed. So here also the total product will be the sum of marginal products. Average product we discussed, total product divided by the variable factor, that is changing. And what is marginal product? There are two things. Here we saw T2 minus T1. So similarly here they have given Tn minus Tn minus 1. That is T2 minus 1 is 2 minus 1 is 1. So T2 minus T1. T2 is 200 minus 100, which is 100. We saw the change in the total product. First the total product was 100, then it become 200. So 200 minus 100, that is T2 minus T1. So that is Tn minus 1. And what is again marginal product? Change in the total product or quantity divided by change in the labor or the variable factor. Clear on these concepts? Everyone clear? Clear? No. What doubt you have? No, behind you I am talking with him. हा ये ना पुढे बस, मला सांग काय डाऊट. कुठलं नाही कळालं त्यातलं तुला? स्पेसिफिक सांग मला कुठलं, विच वन? T2 T1 ठीक. मार्जिनल युटिलिटी काय होती? मार्जिन म्हणजे काय? व्हॉट इज मार्जिन? चेंज. फर्स्ट किती होतं? सपोज ऍट फर्स्ट इट वॉज 100, देन इट बिकेम 200. मार्जिन म्हणजे काय? कितीने चेंज झालं आधीपेक्षा लेट. सो व्हॉट इज 200? T2च आहे ना सेकंड वन, आणि T1. तर त्यालाच त्यांनी काय केलंय? Tn आणि n-1. Tn is the first. It can become the first, whatever it can be, third, fourth. And preceding that, म्हणजे त्याच्या मागचं, preceding that is T1. So n-1. The one which is preceding n, बरोबर की नाही? we marginal utility कसं त्याच्या मागचं preceding that we will minus, right, to get the margin. So Tn minus Tn-1 preceding n number. So we are taking it Tn minus Tn-1. Now clear? Where it went? See now here the same thing we are discussing for as per the law of diminishing marginal returns. I'll erase it out first. आता उद्या आल्यावरच करते मी लेक्चर सॉल्व करायचं. Now we can start. See again the law of diminishing marginal returns is coming into place. See what they are saying, we are discussing law of variable proportion and there are 3 stages in it. Stage 1, stage 2 and stage 3. Right? Okay. So what is happening? On the x-axis we have units of labor. That is the variable factor, right? We saw one factor is constant, one factor is variable, other factors all are constant, right? Right? Recall variable. So the variable factor is units of labor. So units of labor will change. Other factors are not changing, so we will not consider them here. So what is happening to the total product and margin? We will be seeing what is happening to the total product, marginal product. Okay. So like the law of diminishing marginal returns, we saw in case of total utility and marginal utility, when the units of labor are increasing, what will happen? Units of labor are increasing here, this side, on the right side. When we move towards right, the variable factor will increase, right? That is, the units of labor will increase. Yeah. So as we are moving towards right, when the units of labor are increasing, what will happen at the start? Total utility will increase, marginal utility will also increase. We saw, right? So here the total product will increase, marginal product will also increase at an increasing rate, means with a higher proportion. But later, as we move up, again, you increase the units of production, units of labor, that is a factor of production, the total utility will increase and the marginal utility, what we saw, will also, what will happen? It will increase, but at a lower rate. At start the rate was high, the later the rate was low, but it is increasing. So now what happened? The total utility reached a peak point, that is the total product. Here it is total product reached a peak point. What will happen to marginal product? What we saw in case of marginal utility, total utility, same. Now what is happening? Total product is decreasing. What will happen to the marginal product? Negative. So this is the same here also, right? The same law of diminishing marginal returns. Because what we saw, the output is only bringing law of diminishing marginal returns. Here we saw, right? What impact it is bringing? The impact only is changing one variable factor, and keeping other factors constant. In the short run, there is a diminishing marginal return impact on the output, right? We saw this. So here also the same impact it is bringing, what we saw. So now what we will be discussing is, we are discussing the main points. What is happening in the first stage? Total product, average product, marginal product go on increasing, but at the end of the first stage, marginal product starts to decline. At the first stage, what is happening? Total product, marginal product, average product are increasing. Second stage, what happened? Total product, again it will go on increasing. But what will happen to the marginal product? It will increase, but at a diminishing rate, right? Marginal product also goes on diminishing. When the total product, second stage, total product reaches maximum, marginal product MP is 0, what we discussed, right? It intersects the x-axis. In the third stage, total product goes on diminishing, negative, right? What we saw, decreasing here, this one. From the peak it is decreasing, right? Diminishing. For the marginal product becomes negative. Here it is intersecting the x-axis and now it is going downwards here, negative, right? So the MP curve crossed the x-axis. The law of variable proportion is also called the law of diminishing marginal returns. Why? We saw utility and the same impact it is bringing here. I told you previously only, at the start only, right? It is the law of diminishing marginal returns. Because the same impact it is bringing. What we discussed in case of total utility, marginal utility is same in the case of total product, marginal product. So both are same. So law of variable proportion is also called the law of diminishing marginal utility. The law is applicable everywhere, in agriculture sector, industrial sector, service sector. Okay. So why this law is important? We discussed, right? Laws of production. why we want this? What is the purpose of these laws of production that we are reading? Yes, you only were telling me. Law of production, why they are required? Production किती करायचं? Quantity. हा, जोरात बोला. नाही ते नाही सांगायचं आपल्याला. गरज काय? व्हॉट इज द पर्पज ऑफ लॉ ऑफ प्रोडक्शन? वाय वी आर रीडिंग दिस? का समजून घेतो आपण लॉ ऑफ प्रोडक्शन? कशासाठी? काय गरज आहे आपल्याला? प्रोडक्शन किती करायचं ते डिसाइड करण्यासाठी, मॅक्झिमम प्रॉफिट कुठे त्या लेवलला, राईट? टू डिटरमाइन द आउटपुट लेवल वेअर वी कॅन मॅक्झिमाइज द प्रॉफिट. नाहीतर वाचण्यात, then just reading there is no point, right? We need to know why we are learning this law of production, right? So that only they are saying, see, the law is useful for a firm or producer for the decision making regarding the output level or the quantity level that we need to produce so that our profit maximizes. That's why we are learning these laws of production. And second, what they are saying, in the short run, at which stage will the producer produce? Which stage will he take? Stage 1, stage 2 or stage 3? Are you able to get what is the name? A white t-shirt. Huh. Piyush. Piyush, are you able to understand what I am telling? Okay. Now can you tell me, we have 3 stages. We discussed, right? 3 stages. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. So, which stage will in the short run the producer use to determine the level of output? Why? Any idea? No idea. Okay, we will see why. Okay, so why logically see? Why the second stage is the right stage to use in the short run? See, third stage we saw, what we saw? Total utility, total product is decreasing, marginal product is negative, right? Is it useful? Output is decreasing, marginal product is negative, so marginal profit, marginal revenue will also be negative. So is there any benefit? No. So third stage is cancelled, right? Now we will be analyzing whether why second stage, why not first stage. So first stage and second stage. So what is happening in the first stage? Total product is increasing at an increasing rate. Marginal product is also increasing at an increasing rate. Increasing rate means what? The rate is high, means for see, if the total product at start was 2, now it became 4, now it is becoming 8. The increasing rate is high. The next is becoming, taking a longer gap between the two, the first preceding one and the next one. And in the second stage, what happens? Total product is increasing, but at a diminishing rate. And the marginal product is increasing also at a diminishing rate. So, in the short run, what will happen? Will the total product increase with an increasing rate? In the short run. Short run, we are, law of variable proportion is for short run. So, in the short run, will the total product and the total product increase with an increasing rate? No. The total product will not increase in an increasing rate. It will increase with a diminishing rate. So, the producer will not take the first stage. Again, the why second stage? At second stage, the total product is at peak also, right? And the producer, what he wants, the total product should be at peak, right? Highest level. So that is also the second thing why we are using, why the producer will go for the second stage in the short run. Got it? Clear? 5:30 झाले का? काय करायचं, घ्यायचं का नको? कन्सेप्ट मध्ये गेलं तर वेळच लागेल खूप. ठीक आहे, आजसाठी लॉ ऑफ व्हेरिएबल प्रोपोर्शन कळालं ना व्यवस्थित? समजतंय सगळ्यांना? पियुष गॉट क्लिअर? एनी डाऊट? नो ना? यू? Okay, fine. Some people have not joined or not present in class also today. So we will go for law of returns to scale tomorrow. Okay? Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello. हाँ शैला, आवाज येतोय. बोल. 1 मिनिट. हाँ बोल. हाँ. का सेकंड स्टेजला प्रोड्युसर, सेकंड स्टेज वरती. हा बोल काय डाऊट आहे तुझा? हा कुठे कन्फ्युजन आहे तुला? काय क्लॅरिटी पाहिजे मला? म्हणजे तुला टोटल स्टेजेस नाही कळाले का? स्टेजेस कळाले नाही का त्याचे? तुला लॉ ऑफ मार्जिनल युटिलिटी कळाली का? लॉ ऑफ त्याच्यासारखंच आहे. लॉ ऑफ मार्जिनल युटिलिटी वाचली का तू? म्हणजे मी जस्ट विचारतीये, म्हणजे मला इझी जाईल तुला समजवायला. वाचलेली आहेस का लॉ ऑफ मार्जिनल युटिलिटी? डिमिनिशिंग मार्जिनल रिटर्न्स. तर त्याच्यात काय होतं, टोटल युटिलिटी जर पीकवर असेल तर काय होतं, मार्जिनल युटिलिटी काय असते? तुला उदाहरण दिलं होतं बघ, आपण क्लासमध्ये रिवाइज करत होतो त्यावेळी. मी जेवतीये, मला भूक लागलीये, मी 10 अन्नाचे हे घेणार आहे. हा, तर सॅटिस्फॅक्शन लेवल कम्प्लीट झाली माझी. टोटल युटिलिटी एकदम, मी हंगर माझं सॅटिस्फाय झालं. टोटल युटिलिटी माझी पीकवर आली, माझं सॅटिस्फॅक्शन झालं. आता मी हंग्री नाहीये, तर मार्जिनल युटिलिटी 0. आणि मग मी परत जेवण घेतलं, माझं हंगर सॅटिस्फाय झाले, तेव्हा टोटल युटिलिटी काय होणार आहे? मला आय एम नॉट हंग्री, सो द टोटल युटिलिटी विल डिक्रीज, राईट? अँड द मार्जिनल युटिलिटी विल बिकम नेगेटिव्ह. So here the same thing, when the total product is at peak, marginal product is 0, and when the total product is decreasing, marginal product is negative. Same concept here. Similar. Got clear it now? Clear? Any other doubts? हा. ओके, मी काय करते, तुला ना जेवढे आपण घेतले आहेत ना, तू मला ह्याच्यावर, तुला त्यात काही डाऊट आहे का? बरं ठीक आहे, आपण काय करूयात, उद्या घेऊयात, चालेल? परत घेऊयात, चालेल? हा. काय टाकू म्हणजे त्याच्यावर एक्सप्लेनेशन पाहिजे का काय पाहिजे? हा. ते अगं त्याचे तुला म्हणजे मला कळालं नाही, त्याचं कुठल्या स्पेसिफिक याचं एक्सप्लेनेशन पाहिजे का? सगळे परत मी रिवाइज करून घेऊ क्लासमध्ये? मी उद्या घेते, परत रिवाइज करून घेते क्लासमध्ये, ठीक आहे? क्विक घेऊयात आपण, 5-10 मिनिटं लागतील, जास्त काही घेतलेलं नाही आहेत मी. उद्या घेऊयात आपण, चालेल? उद्या फक्त मला एक काम कर, म्हणजे तुला परत जर टीम्स नाही तर मग पर्सनली लेक्चर अटेंड कर, किंवा मग जर तुला टीम्स वर काही इश्यू आला तर मला सांग उद्या, नाही तर मग परत असं व्हायचं की लास्ट टाइम मिस झाले, आता पण मिस होतील असं. ठीक आहे? हा, म्हणजे मला उद्या आपण स्टार्टिंगलाच घेऊयात. मला फक्त स्टार्टिंगला एकदा सांग, आवाज येतोय का क्लिअर तुला? आवाज डिस्कनेक्ट वगैरे होत नाहीस ना 5-10 मिनिटासाठी? ठीक आहे? ओके. ठीक आहे, काही प्रॉब्लेम नाही, आपण घेऊयात. काय 5-10 मिनिटाचं तर एवढं काही टेन्शन नको घेऊ त्याचं. आणि तेच येणार आहेत असं नाहीये, फक्त एक लॉजिकल ॲबिलिटी तुमचं कितपत कळालंय तुम्हाला त्याच्यासाठीच म्हटलं मी, बाकी काही नाही. अगं ते नाही नाही काही नाही, घाबरू नको. तू पर्सनली अटेंड करू शकलीस ना लेक्चर, तर मला ते अजून चांगलं राहील. कारण मग मी काय करते माहिती का, समोरासमोर. हा